What's going on, everybody? Scene Cowboy Billy Joe here today to talk to you about the new movie Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a 2025 horror movie based on the video game of the same name for the PlayStation 4. Now, I'll be upfront and honest with you, I have played a slight bit of the game, but I haven't played it all the way through. I know a little bit about it. I know roughly the idea that it's an interactive game where you kind of make your choices and you get an ending, or not even necessarily just the ending, but the whole story depends on the choices that you make. We're talking the entire plot depends on every choice that you make. You're in the theater, you can't make choices, so what are they going to do to incorporate that element? Well, they understood that there was a need to get some sort of a incorporation of the video game, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem they understood that they needed to actually incorporate the video game. What they have done is created a movie where essentially there is some sort of a curse paradox on this town that the kids visit, and they die over and over and over again until they don't. Yeah. Now, this is up and down for me. On one hand, these are some of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in a film. The movie's titled Until Dawn, but to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to make it until the end of the screening. 20 minutes in, and I was about had it with every single one of them. With that being said, if you are like me and you are experiencing that same level of annoyance with these aggravating people, which, no offense to the actors, I'm pretty sure that they were told to be aggravating. And if they weren't, then, well, they're just aggravating. But my point is, as I mentioned, this is a movie where they die over and over and over and over again. So if you do find them annoying, prepare yourself for some gratification, because you are going to watch them continue to die repeatedly in some really gruesome, albeit far-fetched and abstract situations. Now, if you're worried about any kind of spoilers, be it in this video or in the movie itself, you don't have to worry about either, because like I said, I haven't played the game all the way through, so I can't possibly spoil you on anything. I haven't watched any trailers for it outside of what I played. I don't know anything about what happens in that game. I just know people die based on the choices that you make. And in the movie, you won't find any spoilers either, because despite being of the same name, Until Dawn the movie and Until Dawn the game, this movie has absolutely fuck all to do with the game. There is nothing from the game in the movie until the very last scene. You get a tease. I won't go into it, but the movie has nothing to do with the game. I'm here to tell you. Let's talk about the story. The premise of the story is you follow Clover and her 4 friends, well, 3 friends and one of them's boyfriend, as they retrace Clover's sister's steps before she went missing. Now, when they follow that path, that takes them to the Glore Valley, if I'm remembering correctly, the Glore Valley Welcome Center, which I can only explain to you is cursed with a paradox of some sort that causes abnormal weather and spirits and psychiatric effects. I'm gonna be honest with you, man, it makes sense if you don't think about it, so let's just keep it moving. Point is, they end up trapped in a paradox of either survive the night or become a part of it. Now, what that means is they are continually hunted by multiple different factors, including a clown-faced killer that kind of gets explained a little bit later in the movie, but not necessarily entirely. Nothing in this movie makes sense. I'm just going to level with you. It does not make any sense. So just stop thinking about it. You'll be good. But the point being that they have to continually be murdered over and over again until they can survive the night to escape the paradox. Why do they have to survive the night to escape the paradox, you may ask? I don't fucking know. I don't think they know either. But that's the rules. You gotta survive and you escape. Now, I could go a little bit further into the details of the movie, but I'd be risking some spoilers of what really, I guess, isn't necessarily anything worth worrying about spoiling, but I'll be respectful. As I mentioned, it makes more sense if you just don't think about it. And again, you don't have to worry about spoilers for the game either, because it doesn't actually follow the story of the game. It doesn't even have the same real location of the game. At least not from what I played. Now, again, I only played the first little bit of it, so maybe as the game goes on, you get something to the effect of what we see in the movie, but I don't think so. I will tell you up front, this movie was not really something I enjoyed wholeheartedly. As I mentioned, the characters I found incredibly annoying. The first 20 minutes of the movie were brutal to get through just because there was not really anything of any relevance happening. There was nothing that actually made any impact to the story, nothing that made me feel anything other than absolutely aggravated. And I use Regal Unlimited to go see my movies, so I'll be honest with you, I had a half a mind to get up and walk out after about 25 minutes. But I stuck through it. I stuck through it because I knew it was going to be something here worth seeing. Was I right? Was I wrong? Still not really sure myself, to be honest with you. So Until Dawn is, at its core, it's somewhat of a killer thriller without necessarily being a classic killer thriller. It follows these annoying characters, as we've established, as they get killed. Now, the difference between this and your classic killer thriller is death is permanent. It means something. And this one, it really doesn't. They just die. And again, and again, and again, while they try to unravel the mystery of Glore Valley, which they both do and don't, because you still leave not really understanding exactly why any of this is happening. They tell you why, but they don't explain why. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and they don't attempt to explain it too much. Don't get me wrong, though. It ain't all negative. There are some quality jump scares in this movie. I don't scare very easily. I've seen quite a few things myself, and there were about 2 or 3 times where this one actually got me hop out of my seat just a little bit. So really good quality jump scares in this one. Some a little bit more predictable that you probably, like me, will see coming and just be like, of course, okay, let's get this out of the way. But there are a couple quality ones that I really thought were well shot, well done, well thought out. In addition to that, if you just enjoy some really good over-the-top nonsense killing, especially when it's some annoying people, you're going to like this movie. There's some really good kills in this one, some really bad kills in this one, some that don't make a lot of sense, and some that are just plain simple. And you know what? Sometimes you just can't beat the good old simple things. I always say sometimes less is more. I think that less of this movie in the world would be more, but that's just me. You may enjoy this movie if you can just sit through and waste about 1 hour and 40 minutes of just watching people die in ridiculously graphic ways that don't make a whole lot of anatomical sense. Might be for you. Me personally, I do like to see a little bit more of an actual plot that makes some sense, and especially in a video game adaptation, I do like to see a little bit more of the adaptation of the actual game's story. You look at an adaptation like Resident Evil, for example, and yeah, they do take a lot of liberties with Resident Evil, and not always for the best. In fact, most of the time, not for the best. But you still have the elements of the story in there. In the Resident Evil movies, they have Raccoon City, they have Jill, they have Chris, they have Leon in some instances. They take those things into account in making the movie. They don't try to make something entirely new, which is what they've done here. Again, I mentioned it earlier that it's really difficult to incorporate something like Until Dawn into a movie. So maybe just don't if you can't do it. I get it. It's difficult to take that choice factor into things and kind of go through how your choices will impact the outcome, which they do that well enough, but I just don't think it was really worth it to brand it Until Dawn. I think you could have made it its own movie, and it would have been just fine. But instead, you're going to piss off a whole bunch of video game players, and they already have enough hate on them from arguing with the Last of Us crowd, and I won't get started on that because that's another video, but, you know, I just think this is another loss for the gamers, hoping to see a good quality adaptation of a video game, you know, is what it is. Let's talk a little bit about some of the more in-depth factors of this movie. Until Dawn, you're going to have not really a great score, some decent cinematography at moments, but early on, not very much. Pretty straight and simple. But like I mentioned, a few quality jump scares that actually got me going pretty good. And for that, I give the cinematography, it's okay. It's all right. Not much doing with the score, and really music didn't play any factor in the movie whatsoever. Casting was... I'm split on the casting because it just depends if was the idea of the casting to get people to come in and play the most aggravating, annoying, ridiculous people you'd ever find. In that case, 2 thumbs up. But if the idea of the casting was to do anything other than that, then I think they seriously missed the mark on this one. All right, so we got the music covered, we got the casting covered, we got the cinematography covered. Special effects, very over the top, not entirely believable, but it was fun. It was all right. It was neat. Now, the only upside I can see to seeing this movie in the theaters is that you do have that nice enclosed dark space. And, you know, unless you're using Regal Unlimited like me, you have less of an inclination to walk out after 20 minutes. But other than that, I really don't think I necessarily needed to see this one at the theaters. The only reason I don't regret it is because I didn't really pay anything to see it. If I would have paid my hard-earned money to specifically see this movie, I probably would have left feeling like a missed mark. So, Billy Joe, where does this one fall on the marker meter? Well, I can't call it a casualty as much as I would kind of like to be honest with you. It's just not that bad. Some of the kills were fun to watch, jump scares, and, once you get into the meat and bones of the movie, it is enjoyable. It's not good by any stretch of the imagination. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of the potential for a real Until Dawn movie, unless they actually intend to make a sequel based on the teaser at the end. But it's just not bad enough to say that it's a casualty rating. I'm not going to make it our first casualty rating. I'm going to save that for a movie that's truly terrible. But it's definitely not a bullseye, and it's definitely not an off mark either. So I'm caught somewhere between missed the mark and outer edge, to be honest with you. What makes me consider an outer edge is just the satisfaction of the kill scenes. There are some really creative ones in here, and I do enjoy that. So for that, I kind of want to give it that outer edge. But on the other hand, this movie was not something that I think I'm ever going to see again. I don't really feel the need to. The story was just so miserable the whole time, and everybody's just so aggravating, and even with the satisfaction of watching them die multiple times, it just don't make any damn sense, man. I need something. I need you to give me something more than just the blood and the guts. I mean, hell, even Terrifier makes some sense of the damn plot. There's something there to enjoy outside of the gore. And the gore in Terrifier is definitely way more intense than the gore in Until Dawn, which is really more of a silly cartoonish gore than anything. I'm gonna go miss mark. I'm gonna go just miss the target, miss the mark. That's me. I got no choice. I'm gonna go miss mark. It was not good enough outside of just the satisfaction of the kills to give it anything higher than that, but it was not bad enough to say that I would really rather be dead than to watch this movie again. I'm not going to watch it again. I certainly wouldn't pay to watch it, and I don't think I would waste the time to watch it once it comes to streaming. I just don't think I would do it. Now, where you might find yourself that this movie may be a hit for you is, again, can you put aside the fact that the plot is either not good or just does not make any sense? Can you put that aside to enjoy some decent quality kill scenes that are, again, over the top and cartoonish, but enjoyable nonetheless? If you find that you just don't mind the lack of a plot, lack of any really enjoyable characters, lack of any making sense, and anything other than just kill scenes, by all means, pull out your wallet and go to your nearby theater and get yourself a ticket to go see Until Dawn. But if you value anything outside of just kill scenes, and you prefer your kill scenes to be a little bit more realistic or, make some sort of anatomical sense, then keep your wallet in your pants, don't pull out your card, and maybe wait for this one to come to streaming and see if you might enjoy it then. But as for Billy Joe, the Seeing Cowboy, it just don't do it for me. So for that, we're going to solidify that. We're going to count this one done and call it It's the Target. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something that you plan on seeing soon? If so, let me know. And let me know what you thought about it afterwards as well. If you already seen it, let me know if you disagree with me. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being a follower.